When hope was the only wealth. A powerful tale of rising from poverty, defying odds, and building a life of success. I watched Nadia Corvell slip the envelope into Dean Morrison's briefcase like she was depositing a check at a bank. Casual, confident, the kind of movement that comes from knowing you'll never get caught because people like her don't get caught. I was standing in the hallway outside the scholarship committee office with my acceptance letter already drafted in my head, my entire future balanced on $5,000 and a recommendation that would open doors my mother scrubbed floors behind. Nadia saw me watching. She smiled, not a guilty smile, a victorious one. "Some of us earn our way, Elena," she said, loud enough for the secretary to hear. "And some of us just know how to ask the right people." 2 days later I got my rejection email. Nadia got the Brennan Scholarship, the mentorship program, and a feature in the school newsletter about overcoming adversity through her nonprofit work in underprivileged communities. The same communities she wouldn't walk through without her driver. I sat at our kitchen table with the email open on my cracked phone screen and my mother's hand on my shoulder. "Mija, maybe this is God's way of," she started. "Don't," I said, "don't tell me God wanted this." Lucas looked up from his homework, his eyes already worried in that way that made him seem older than 12. "What happened?" he asked. "Nothing happened," I lied. "Everything's fine." But I was already opening a new browser tab, already searching Nadia's name, already screenshotting every public post from her Instagram where she posed with luxury bags and vacation photos tagged in places that contradicted her scholarship essay about financial hardship. I created a folder on my phone. I labeled it Research. That night I couldn't sleep, so I scrolled through 3 years of her digital footprint while my mother snored in the next room and Lucas breathed steady and innocent in the bed we used to share before I gave it to him and took the couch. Nadia's life was a performance. Every caption was crafted. Every photo was a lie wrapped in Valencia filter. Her nonprofit, Bridges for Tomorrow, claimed to provide tutoring for low-income students, but the only evidence of actual work was a single afternoon at a community center where she took 47 photos and left after an hour. I found the tax documents. Public record. Her family's foundation donated to itself, created paper trails that looked like charity but functioned like tax shelters. I found the vendor invoices for events that never happened. I found everything. "You're up early," my mother said when she found me at 5 in the morning, still scrolling. "Couldn't sleep," I said. She looked at my phone, at the spreadsheet I'd started building, at the timeline I was constructing. "Elena, whatever you're planning." "I'm not planning anything," I said. "I'm just looking." She didn't believe me. I didn't believe me. I went to school that day with my phone heavy in my pocket and a plan forming like a storm system. First period. I sat 3 rows behind Nadia and watched her flip her hair and laugh with her friends about some party in the Hamptons. She caught me staring. "Can I help you?" she asked, sweet as antifreeze. "Just admiring your dedication," I said. "That scholarship must mean a lot." Her smile tightened. "It does. Hard work pays off." I started small. Anonymous tip to the school newspaper about inconsistencies in scholarship applications. They ignored it. Email to the nonprofit oversight board about Bridges for Tomorrow. Automated response. Call to the local news station about potential fraud in charitable organizations. They said they'd look into it and never called back. The system wasn't designed to catch people like Nadia. It was designed to protect them. So I stopped trying to work within it. I spent my lunch periods in the library, my evenings after my cleaning job building a website. I taught myself basic HTML from YouTube videos. I created a simple page with a clean layout and a single purpose: document everything. Every receipt, every photo, every contradiction between Nadia's public story and her private reality. I called it the Scholarship Project, framed it as an investigation into equity in educational funding. I made it look journalistic, professional. I included other cases, other students, enough real reporting that it felt legitimate. But the centerpiece was Nadia. 3,000 words, 27 sources, 14 embedded documents. I published it on a Friday night. By Monday morning it had 63 shares. By Tuesday it had been picked up by a local blog. By Wednesday, the school was in damage control mode and Nadia was sitting in Dean Morrison's office while her parents screamed about defamation and their lawyer sent cease and desist letters to everyone who'd shared the link. I watched it happen from the cafeteria, my phone buzzing with notifications, my chest tight with something that felt like vindication but tasted like battery acid. Holy shit, did you see this? Tanya Kim dropped into the seat across from me, her phone screen showing my article. Someone really went after Nadia Corvell. Yeah, I said, I saw. Whoever wrote this is either really brave or really stupid, Tanya said. They're going to get sued into oblivion. Maybe, I said, or maybe they have enough evidence that the truth is a defense. Tanya looked at me, really looked. Elena, did you? I have to get to class, I said. The school launched an investigation. The scholarship committee convened an emergency meeting. Nadia's parents hired a public relations firm. And I waited. I waited for someone to do the right thing. I waited for the system to work the way it was supposed to. I waited for justice. Instead, I got a summons to the principal's office. Principal Davies sat behind her desk with her hands folded and her expression carefully neutral. Elena, I need to ask you something directly. Did you create the scholarship project website? I thought about lying. I thought about the folder of evidence on my phone, the screenshots and documents and irrefutable proof. I thought about my mother telling me that honesty was the only currency we had. Yes, I said. She nodded like I'd confirmed something she already knew. I'm going to be very clear with you. What you've done, regardless of the veracity of the claims, constitutes harassment. The Corvell family is pursuing legal action. The school board has decided that the best course of action is to recommend your immediate suspension pending a full investigation. The room tilted. I have proof. Everything on that website is documented. It's all true. That's not the point, Davies said. The point is that you engaged in a targeted campaign against another student. You created a public platform designed to humiliate her. True or not, that's cyberbullying. She stole my scholarship, I said, and my voice cracked. She lied and manipulated and bought her way into an opportunity that was supposed to be merit-based. I just showed people what she did. And in doing so, you've violated school policy, potentially broken several laws, and created a liability situation that this institution cannot ignore, Davies said. I understand you're upset. I understand you feel wronged. But this is not how we handle disputes. How do we handle them? I asked, because I tried everything else. I reported her. I gave you evidence. Nobody cared until I made it public. That's not an excuse for vigilantism, Davies said. She stood up. You're suspended for 2 weeks. During that time, you're to have no contact with Nadia Corvell or any member of her family. If the legal situation escalates, the school will cooperate fully with law enforcement. Do you understand? I understood. I understood that the system protected people who could afford lawyers. I understood that telling the truth was only valued when it didn't inconvenience powerful people. I understood that I'd won the battle and lost the war. I went home and told my mother everything. She listened without interrupting, her face getting older with every word. When I finished, she was quiet for a long time. What were you thinking? She finally asked. I was thinking that someone needed to hold her accountable, I said. And now what? She asked. Now they're holding you accountable instead. Lucas came home from school with questions I couldn't answer. Kids are saying you got suspended. They're saying you hacked Nadia's bank account and made stuff up about her. Is that true? No, I said. Everything I published was real. Then why are you in trouble? He asked. Because sometimes telling the truth gets you in more trouble than lying, I said. He looked confused, scared, like the rules of the world he thought he understood had suddenly changed. I'd done that to him. The lawsuit came 3 days later. The Corvell family was suing me for defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and cyberstalking. The damages they were seeking were $250,000. My mother held the papers in her shaking hands and cried for the first time since my father left. We don't have this kind of money, she whispered. We don't have any money. I called legal aid. I called the American Civil Liberties Union. I called every resource I could find for low-income defendants. They all said the same thing. Truth is a defense against defamation, but defending yourself costs money we didn't have. I could fight and lose everything, or I could settle and admit I was wrong when I wasn't. What do you want to do? The lawyer from legal aid asked me. I wanted to fight. I wanted to stand in a courtroom and present every piece of evidence and watch Nadia's lies crumble under oath. I wanted justice, but justice required resources I didn't have. I need to think about it, I said. That night I sat on our couch with my laptop and looked at the scholarship project website. It had been shared 4,000 times. The local news had finally picked it up. A state representative had mentioned it in a tweet about reforming scholarship oversight. I'd accomplished what I set out to do. I'd exposed the truth. And it was destroying my family. Lucas wouldn't talk to me. He'd heard kids at school calling me crazy, calling me a stalker, saying I was jealous and unstable. My mother had to take time off work to meet with lawyers we couldn't afford. The stress was giving her migraines that left her pale and shaking. Our landlord had heard about the lawsuit and was suddenly concerned about our ability to pay rent. Everything was falling apart. And Nadia? Nadia lost the Brennan scholarship. The committee quietly reassigned it to another student after their investigation confirmed what I'd published. But her family's lawyers got the story removed from most major outlets by threatening legal action. Her nonprofit was dissolved, but nobody was charged with fraud. She withdrew from our school and enrolled in a private academy where nobody would ask questions. She landed on her feet because people like her always do. I took the website down. I drafted an apology statement that made me want to vomit. I agreed to a settlement where I admitted no wrongdoing but agreed to remove all content, issue a public retraction, and sign a non-disparagement agreement. In exchange, the Corvell family would drop the lawsuit. My mother signed as my guardian because I was still 17 when everything started. Her hand shook so badly she could barely write her name. You did what you thought was right, she said. I know that, but she looked at me differently now. Like I was someone she didn't quite recognize. Lucas asked me if it was worth it. We were sitting in our cramped living room, the television playing something neither of us was watching. Was what worth it? I asked, even though I knew. All of it, he said. The website, the lawsuit, making mom cry. Was it worth it to take down someone you hate? I don't hate her, I said. I just wanted people to know the truth. But did it fix anything? He asked. You still didn't get the scholarship. We're still broke, and now everyone thinks you're crazy. I didn't have an answer. The suspension ended. I went back to school. People whispered. Some of them looked at me like I was dangerous. Some of them looked at me like I was pathetic. Tanya found me at lunch. Hey, she said. Hey, I read the retraction, she said. That must have sucked to write. It did. She sat down across from me. For what it's worth, I believe you. I think everything you published was true. I think Nadia is exactly what you said she was. Thanks, I said, but I don't think I'd do what you did, she said quietly. I don't think the cost is worth it. Not when the people who deserve to pay never do. She was right. Nadia was fine. Better than fine. I was the one paying. 3 months later, I got an email. The Brennan Scholarship Committee wanted to meet with me. They'd reviewed my original application in light of the investigation. They were prepared to offer me the scholarship, the mentorship program, and a formal apology for the mishandling of the selection process. Everything I'd wanted, everything I'd fought for, but there was a condition. I had to agree to never publicly discuss the circumstances surrounding the original decision. I had to sign another non-disclosure agreement. I had to pretend it never happened. I sat at our kitchen table with the email open and my mother watching me. What are you going to do? She asked. I thought about Lucas, who still barely talked to me. I thought about the bills stacked on the counter. I thought about Nadia at her new school, probably already planning her next move. I thought about the truth, and how little it mattered when nobody with power wanted to hear it. I'm going to take it, I said. And then what? My mother asked. Then I leave, I said. I take the mentorship. I go abroad. I get out of here. And leave us? Lucas said from the doorway. I hadn't heard him come in. Just for a while, I said. It's an opportunity. Right, he said, like the scholarship was an opportunity. Like exposing Nadia was about justice. You just want to win. That's not fair, I said. None of this is fair, he said. But you're the one who decided that fighting back mattered more than anything else. More than us. So go. Take your scholarship. Win. He went to his room and closed the door. My mother looked at me with tired eyes. He'll forgive you, she said. Eventually. Will you? I asked. I don't know, she said. I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself. But I'm afraid of what it cost you. Of what it cost all of us. I signed the papers. I accepted the scholarship. I started planning my exit. And late at night, when I couldn't sleep, I opened my phone and looked at the folder I'd never deleted. All that evidence. All that truth. All that rage that had seemed so righteous when I started. I won. I got exactly what I wanted. So why did it feel like I'd lost everything that mattered?